Hey friends, hello everyone, how are you doing? November the 20th today, and Venus just entered heliocentric Leo just an hour ago or so, and this is really a big stuff because Venus was turning retrograde in the end degrees of Leo and turned direct again on September the 4th in the 13th degree of Leo. So Leo has been highly charged up as seen from Earth already, and now in heliocentric perspective Venus has entered Leo today. And this is the chart for Greenwich, for the 0 meridian, and you see the galactic center here at the root of this chart. This is big stuff. This really shows that Venus energy is now flooding in at a very, very high speed, and Neptune here in pole position at the 7th house cusp in this beautiful configuration here, a mystic rectangle, and then this kite here towards Neptune. So let's have a bit of a closer look at the overall energy which is prevailing as we speak, which are the quanta, the energy quanta which are traveling on the electrons, the photons, the neutrons, all the particles streaming from the sun constantly. And as you know, the sun is the life-giving source. I guess that's such as something to really call back to memory all the time. The sun is the living entity, really. We are all extensions of that, and that is the energy we are feeding on. Now let's look at this beautiful configuration. We have Mercury and Venus here in opposition, and with Mercury just about connecting with Pluto, making a conjunction. So this is a very, very high ability to understand structures, and also to understand that everything is in constant change, in constant motion. Pluto Mercury is challenging Mercury to open its mind wider. Pluto always kind of throws in these extra questions and little challenges to break the stubborn frame of mind, that structure which so easily can get kind of comfortable in ruts and in already pre-existing trails. So Pluto is definitely helping that to be opened up by bringing in all kinds of little challenges. Venus here on the other side, as I say, at 0 Leo, which is really bringing that love to a full blast, flare up. The first 15 degrees of Leo is combustion, and then release. That is the energies described as in Leo by Dane Rudyard. A wonderful breakdown to keywords. These are from the Sabian symbols, those of you who are interested in one of these little treasures to have as an astrologer, or even as an aspiring astrologer wanting to get deeper into it. I highly recommend this little book. It gives you a wonderful poetic approach to the whole zodiac and the individual degrees. But this is just a start. Venus and Mercury have this opposition, and then there is this other opposition of Mars, Ceres in late Scorpio, and Earth here with Sedna just closing into Sedna. Sedna being a super important force in the next few days. Sedna actually moves into heliocentric Gemini. You see it's at 29:59 just in a few days, actually on the 25th of November. That date which is charged highly by all kinds of predictions, particularly the one about the Hopi prophecies of the blue Kachina to come full circle, which is the end of the fourth world and the birth, the new beginning, the real foundation of the fifth world, which is predicted to occur on that day. Actually, it was stretched out over several years between 2017 and 2023. And if we go here quickly to this, I wanted to show you, this is where I get this information from. I've shared Nancy Rebecca's work before. Go back and listen to this wonderful 1 hour presentation of hers, which gives you the whole history of the Hopi prophecies and the connection to the stars. It is really quite amazing that this is, let me go here first. You see, this is the Hopi reservation here. And if we zoom in on that, that is in the middle of Arizona. Here is Flagstaff. Here's the Grand Canyon. Here is Sedona, Phoenix, Tucson. And if we zoom in a little bit on it, Flagstaff again. So this is the Navajo Nation and the Hopi reservation here at the center of it. And here I have found a nice graph. This gives you the breakdown, the first, the second, and the third mesa. So this is important because this is the prediction Nancy Rebecca is bringing forth. She has been visited by these blue light beings in her living room, giving her all that information, and they claim to be Syrian. Sirius is definitely related to the constellation of Orion. Here you see the Orion constellation. There's two more stars which are probably not usually recognized as part of it, but if you see, here is Betelgeuse, this is Regal, let me see if I'm right, no, Bellatrix, yeah, this is Betelgeuse, Bellatrix, and this is Scythe and Regal, the four main stars, and then here in the center we have that famous group of three big stars, the Orion's belt. And then Sirius is not far away, Sirius is here. And Sirius is the one star these blue beings are claiming to be connected to. If you are at all aware of the Dogon tribe in Africa, who knew that there was Sirius A and B, that there were two stars, that it was a twin system, way before astronomers were able to see that there was a little dwarf, a brown dwarf, which was circling around the most bright Sirius A. So they claim to have been visited by these star beings eons ago, and they carry on this tradition of remembering naturally. So Alpha Canis Major, that's the designation of Sirius. It belongs to the Canis Major constellation. So Sirius at 1424 Cancer. Keep this in mind, keep this theory in mind. I show you why this matters. So anyway, let's go back here. So we go to the Hopi territory and have these three mesas. which makes sense that the prophecy would come full circle in their homelands, and that is the prediction that this final blue light infusion into Earth's grid, Earth's aura, Earth's body would be coming in that area of the three mesas. And now let's go to this picture which I had before. So you see, this shows you the amazing overlay of the Orion constellation with key sites in that whole area. Here again is Flagstaff, you see. And then here we have Wupatki, Homolovi. These are all sacred sites, special sites. And then here in the center we have the three mesas, which are representing the Orion's belt. Here you have it again, and here it gives you the names Mintaka, Alnilan, and Alnitak. Here you see it again in a bigger map inserted, again the three mesas. This, I just wanted to read you this as a reference, just to bring this whole Hopi story a bit more into collective knowing. The Hopi occupancy, the Hopi occupy 12 villages in regions referred to as First Mesa, Second Mesa, and Third Mesa. So these are really their homelands. That's the ancestral source in this area. Although these areas have similar languages and traditions, each has its own individual features. Generations of Hopitu, the peaceful people, much like their Pueblan ancestors, have lived in these largely agrarian settlements of stone and adobe houses, which blend in with the earth so well that they appear to be natural formations. Televisions, antennas, satellite dishes, and automobiles notwithstanding, these Hopi villages still exude the air of another time. Just thought I also bring this side to your knowing Hopi Education Endowment Fund, which gives you, this is their own side of the Hopi community, which gives you some direct insight. Now, on a totally different note, the comet ZTF, the green star-seeded comet of deliverance, as it was named by the Nine, another energy which is not embodied, the white-winged collective consciousness of Nine, as transmitted by Magenta Pixie. So you might remember that comet. I was talking a lot about it in the early part of the year, but this is still active and actually has reached highest latitude. Means the latitude is measured against the equator, against the Earth's grid, so it is really at its highest altitude over the northern hemisphere, has reached that point actually on November the 14th, right around new moon in and I have the chart here for you. Let me show you. It's just a spectacular chart in itself. Here it is. This is the heliocentric chart. Let's go back to the geocentric. Just 1 second. That is where did I have it? No, not here. Here it is. Okay. So yeah, pretty spectacular chart. So the comet at the time of its highest latitude over the northern hemisphere at 83, that's just 7 degrees short of the North Pole, was at 23 degrees retrograde here in Taurus, and we have the Earth-Uranus conjunction, or the Uranus-Sun opposition with Mars here. So I told you this is a supercharged new moon chart we had here. This moment when the comet was at its maximum latitude was just, you see, 12 hours after new moon, the moon here still in close range. This is a big stellium with Mercury actually in the lead here, and the black moon rising. So this shows really that this comet, whatever energy it is bringing into the solar system, which has been seeded on these various touchdown points with Earth and the solar system in January till March mainly, where the foundation was laid. And now this comes to a full flowering, I would say. It has reached its maximum. It's now in the phase of distributing its scent, throwing it out into the universe, distributing its energy. And it is enigmatic that this happened right shortly after this super powerful new moon, which I did a recording on. You can go back to that. So this ties in with what I already told you about the three big insertions of energy. It totally makes sense that this would be the case. Now let's go back a little bit. And I told you about the 14 degrees and 24 minutes in Cancer, where Sirius is located at in our present time. This is naturally changing with the precession of the equinoxes every 72 years, 1 degree forward in that sense. So but right now at 1424, you see that's where the sun was on July the 6th, when Earth was farthest away from the sun. Super important moment in time. I have referred to that several times. These are moments when the Earth is farthest away and closest in early January. These are the two extreme points of Earth's ellipse, and like no other astrological alignments, perihelion and aphelion of the Earth involves only two bodies. It's a real polarity. All other alignments usually is a trigonometrical thing. You look from one place like Earth, and you then see where in reference to Earth are Sun and Moon, for example, or whatever other planets. But if we have only the Sun and Earth, these are the only two real turning points when Earth comes closest and when it is farthest away from the sun. So these two anchor points are super important every year. So this was the latest one in July 2023, and I was immediately thinking back then already, wow, Sirius is super powerful in this year's chart, and naturally this lasts for not just 6 months but till the next aphelion, till the Earth is once again at this farthest point. So they're both important. They're like the two legs on your body. Both are moving, giving you the move forward. Now look at this here, just a few other little details of that chart. The moon in the 2nd degree of Pisces here. And you know that Saturn is just about here now. It actually turned direct on November the 4th at 032, and that is the next chart I'm having here for you, just to show you the connection here too. Here we have Saturn 030. And let's go back to this chart, but once more. So it really shows that Saturn will be super important. And naturally on November the 4th, we had that first insertion of that blue light energy as predicted. I guess many of us could feel it. There was a real jump in energy up from there, which does not mean it has become easier at all. It's actually the challenges have become intenser. Everything has gained intensity. The speed of whatever is occurring in our lives personally and in the collective has even picked up another notch or two. And the same happened just a few days ago on the 18th. Now, let's look at this chart for a moment. Saturn's station, and again with this being exact in Greenwich on the 0 meridian, right at sunrise, when there was a Jupiter opposition. This was a very powerful day indeed. Jupiter in that sense is closest to Earth in 1 year. That is when the Earth is on the same side of the Sun as Jupiter, and that means that magnifying effect, that expansiveness of Jupiter, and the loudness, that the weight even just of Jupiter coming in. Jupiter enlarges and magnifies everything. It's a real agent of expansion, of speed, of anything big and magnificent and huge. Jupiter is the one which represents it here at the 7th house cusp, yes, with all that scorpionic energy. And again, just watch out, this is the 12th degree and the 27th of Leo. Now if we go to the next chart, that was the 18th of November. That was that second bolt which came in, and you see the same axis for Greenwich. That was the moment when Sun and Mars were at the exact same spot, and Earth here on the other end. This is heliocentric chart. The Sun here in the middle. And the interesting thing about conjunctions of planets with the Sun is these are happening at once in the heliocentric and the geocentric perspective. This is the only time when the two charts match during conjunctions. Naturally, I guess it's easy to understand. If you stand on the Sun, then you will see Mars on that side and the Earth exactly on the other side. And if you stand on Earth, then Sun and Mars will be in exact alignment behind each other, the Mars in that sense being exactly behind the Sun. So it made lots of sense that the 18th would be a really standout date. I guess every astrologer would have told you so. And the 25th is the next big station. That's where we are getting to. It's just a few days away. So it's really, really exciting. And naturally, it is also a very strenuous time, as I said before. It is, everything is pushed to the maximum. And we are meant to hang in there and to just hold on and do our thing. Be present, be open, be true to yourself, and be courageous most of all. That Mars definitely is fueling, together with Ceres, the sacred masculine, as I said, which is really the balancing energy to all the wars which are on this planet. War is definitely the shadow expression of Mars. The sacred masculine is the upside, the light expression, the divine expression. And we are definitely wanting to bring the balance to that side of the scales. Very important. That's what we are working on here consciously by infusing and amplifying. And we are doing this by being true to ourselves, by doing exactly what we are meant here to do and to be, and to stand in our power and be honest and integrity, all of that stuff, super important, purity, and you name it. So Mars and the Sun, and you see in a T-square to the power axis, the 0 meridian. I mean, how much more clear can it be that these are exceptional times we are in? Astrology just really, if it were not yet clear, it brings the last bit of clarity, or whatever I shall say it. A beautiful feature at that moment was this perfect trine of Venus, Mars, and Neptune. That very similar configuration we have today, which I already showed you here now. Venus has moved on a little bit. You see from the 26th degree it's now at 0, but still it's within orb, one would say. But if we go back to this beautiful chart, so here when Mars and Earth were in alignment with the Sun, that perfect grand trine is really recreation, new creation, dreaming something up from scratch. That is the beautiful contribution of Neptune in Pisces, of that, having that clairvoyance, clairsentience, omniscience, all of that comes in. Neptune in its own sign in the last degrees, very, very rich in imagination, in dreaming a whole new, envisioning a whole new world into reality. Yes, it is these degrees also which are ruled by hexagram 36, darkening of the light. So it demands us to also go to the very darkest places and touch the bottom of the valley in the sense to really find a place where we can really build on and push off into a new dawn. And the critical point to watch for here is 2815. That is when hexagram 25 is initiated, which is innocence, which is really that spring energy, which then is coming in full with full force, even before Neptune enters Aries. So 2815 is the point to watch out for. You can look at this in your personal charts. Any planets, points in that last section of the mutable signs, Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius. Those last 1 degree and 45 minutes are already of the new energy. They're linking over to, the cardinal points into new beginnings. It's a real great revelation to know that, and you find the details of that breakdown of the zodiac according to the 64 hexagrams, just based on the human design systems revelations. You can find that on my website, thecosmoswithin.org. The link is under this video as usual, with where you find all the description of the video, and I'm usually giving you a whole bunch of good links there too in relation to what I'm telling you. So anyway, you see this again, Jupiter here at the 7th house cusp. I mean, it can't be much more in your face. These are most exceptional times. Now let's head on into what's coming in the next few days. So I guess I really built the story up. I made you to really get excited here, as I am. So there's so much going on around the 23rd to the 27th of November. I would put it into this 4-5 day window. It's unbelievable. On the 20, okay, let's give you the breakdown, the complete breakdown. So tomorrow, actually that's Tuesday already, so that already happened most likely. Heliocentric Aspolus entered Cancer. Let's see if we have the heliocentric chart here. Yes, here we have it. You see, that was on the 18th. Aspolus was at 2958. So as of today, Aspolus is now officially in Cancer, will be in here till 2044 for the next 20 years. So this is big. Aspolus is being the one which is interested in the mysteries, and in that sense, Aspolus in Cancer, I guess this is the mystery of where we are coming from, our ancestry, our cultures, ancient, and so that will really bring that interest to a new high level. And I guess it is important to know history, and because this will show us what is worth to carry forward and what to leave behind. So that is today, and then tomorrow the Sun enters Sagittarius, and this will be a big anniversary. This will be the 60th anniversary of JFK's assassination, the 60th. This is a big one. This will reverberate through the world, that energy tomorrow. Then Mars is, as I say, the first major one is then Mars and Ceres having their exact conjunction in geocentric perspective. Here they are, 2909. Ceres is the largest of the asteroids, the asteroid belt, the only one which has a spherical shape because it's big enough. The gravitational forces were bringing that whatever mass into a spherical shape over time. All the ones which are smaller are more like chunk rocks, rock chunks. Anyway, so Ceres is a very special one. The Earth goddess, naturally, all about love, really that motherly love of that unconditional love, like Earth gives it to us. And yes, there are seasons to this too. There is different moods, and sometimes Ceres can be really harsh, like in wintertime when she is retreating. So it is that touch of being really close to nature, very nurturing in that sense. And again, you see, just want to show you this once more. In Saturn turned direct, we had that ascendant midheaven configuration. The Sun and Mars had their conjunction, and when Mars and Ceres has their conjunction. So you see there's a repetition here going with the scorpionic energy here at front and center. Scorpio again is related to Pluto, and Pluto is the planet which is really stirring the pot these days, because most certainly because we are in this Plutonic month with Scorpio. So just want to bring this to your attention once more. which I made another video on, Charon and Pluto, which actually is a planetary system. Charon is its moon, but it's such a big moon. It's the biggest one in proportions in all through the solar system. There's no other moon which is that big compared to the planet it rotates around. So that said, their gravitational mutual center is between the two. This makes it really special, and that's why I decided there was this yes, you have to go back and watch that video. It's really interesting. It shows you a whole new approach to chart these two stations, as they are slightly different by about 7 hours earlier or later. As seen from Earth, the two change directions at their stations when they reach maximum longitude or have start again after going backward to move forward again. These two stations are super important. They give us an insight of what's to come next in the forward motion or respectively in the backward motion. This time it was the laying the foundations for what these next 7 months will be in terms of that Pluto-Charon system's outward expression, which is naturally all about transformation, change, transfiguration, and coming into this deep and intimate merger with reality. That's the most beautiful side of Scorpio. It gives us this deep intimacy and intensity of feeling and sensing all and everything as if it were within us. And naturally the two meet in the last degree of Scorpio, so I mean, how much better can it get with Aries moon in Mars sign, conjunction with Salacia, which is, I mean, Salacia is Neptune's wife. It's the best way to get a feel for Salacia is you think you're standing on the oceans, ashore or on a lake shore, and you're seeing the sunset and you see all the light reflections dancing on the waters. It's that meeting of fire and water. It's something which really creates it's mesmerizing. It brings you into another dimension. That's kind of the energy of Salacia, very much related to tantric traditions, of enjoying every moment in your life regardless of what it may be or may bring. It is that openness to invite, to embrace every emotion which is in our chest. Very beautiful, very life affirmative. So this is tomorrow, and then we are just really building up, because then on the 24th, that is Friday, Mars is entering Sagittarius. Here we go. And at that time the moon is exactly conjunct Aries and the North Node. Actually, Aries will have the exact conjunction of the North Node on the 27th of November, just a few days away. Has been hovering around the North Node already since 3 months, I guess it was within 1 degrees orb. So this is a high point we are heading towards also on that level. Excuse me. I'm talking too much, I guess. Anyway, so Aries again is the one which demands truth. which nothing less but the truth, but integrity, and is ready to take any challenge on its shoulder, go through any conflict in order to clear the air and to find a common denominator which is more close to truth. And this naturally on the North Node, this has been one of the key factors of what we have seen in the last few months in terms of really pushing hard for what is to be manifesting on this planet, what we want it to be. And this will just even now become more clear with the exact conjunction on the 27th. And the moon here, naturally, the moment when Mars enters Sagittarius means this is the birth chart for Mars in the sign of Sagittarius, will be probably for the next 6 weeks or so, into year's end. So there's a real crescendo going on. The Sun and Earth here in the beginning of these mutable signs in hexagram 34 and 20, and here I have something I want to show you. This is from the human design, and these are the gates which are activated by these positions. The Earth in hexagram 20 activates this channel, and the Sun in hexagram 34 activates this channel. So this is one of the rare oppositions which are working together in one single channel. So this is a super powerful number of degrees between 0 and 545 roughly. And then we have also here the 57 defined as we speak by Venus at present. So Venus is in hexagram 57, and you see this is a very unique structure here. These are called the integration channels, and now these will be all fully activated collectively between roughly the 24th and the 29th of November. So again, in that exact window which we were mentioning before. What are the integration channels really? They are the oldest wiring of life on this planet. It is what connects us to plants and animals, and it's where there's this deep instinctual knowing of what it means to survive, what it means to not just survive but to flourish, to thrive, to really grow roots in this natural world. And I mean, in the end, really, there's no question who will win. If you want to excuse me for a second and side tracking here, it only can be nature, because all the artificial stuff, at worst you just pull the plug. I mean, it's as simple as that, really. I mean, yes, there's many people who are right now still totally hypnotized by this artificial frequency, but once the natural frequency is powered up to such a degree, then I guess it's like you have artificial lights on at night, and then the sun rises, and all of a sudden the sun is so much more powerful than all your little light bulbs which were bright at night, but then the sun comes in and you don't even see if they're on or off anymore. You just see the sun and you're enjoying sunrise. That's about where we are going, and this is again a really great timing. If you want to read more on these channels, particular definitions, this one is called charisma, for example, and yeah, I don't have all the names in my mind, but I will put the link. You can look that up. All that information is freely available on the web. Whoever is really wanting to learn something in our present times, everything is at the tips of our fingers, so we really should take advantage of it. And again, this is then the upside of all the artificial stuff. So we will definitely keep what's worth, what's good, what helps, what supports the positive new future, and we will flush away all the rest. That's what eventually will happen. Anyway, that was just a little side track here. By the way, the ascendant here again for Greenwich, for the 0 meridian, in the early degrees of Capricorn, actually fills in the missing link here. That is where hexagram 10 is residing. Excuse me. Hexagram 10, threading, which is the art of applying one's conscious kind of consciously taking, stirring through this potentiality. I guess that's what it is. It's the chi center here, which then will be activated too. The chi center is the personality crystal. It is where the driver sits. Whoever, if in your, I should say it this way, in your personal chart, if the chi center is defined, that means you are very conscious of your personal energy, how you're infusing it into this world, how you're steering, how you're going along if at times, or taking the charge and going first. It is really being in the driver's seat, and with hexagram 10 here coming into this natural great earth grid, I would call it, and we are, in that sense, if we connect to this collective body of earth as anchored in the Greenwich destination, then we can really feel that insertion of our intelligence, and Ishion definitely helps with that. Ishion is a super highly evolved mind. Yes, it has been in its negative form, has a lot to do with abuse and taking advantage. However, in its purified form, this is an extremely compassionate and applying its energy, applying its intelligence, helping to nourish whatever is good, and that's what we are seeing happening definitely among those who do that. So let's keep going here, because I have still quite a few charts to show you as we are building up this story towards the 25th and beyond. So this is Mars Sagittarius ingress, the same chart as before. You see the same chart. 24 is the moon at, this was for Greenwich, and this is now for the Hopi mesas. I thought this was really, again, very striking, that here 1428, you remember 1424, that is where Sirius is. So yeah, I found that quite amazing. Then later that day, heliocentric Mars Ceres conjunction. Again, because Earth is so close by, these two alignments, the one heliocentric and geocentric, are just a couple days apart. See here, you had the geocentric Mars-Ceres conjunction at 2909. And then here you have the heliocentric Mars-Ceres 2855. And the Earth meanwhile is at 2 degrees and 4 minutes in Gemini, with the Sun 2 degrees and 4 minutes naturally in Sagittarius. That is then on the 24th. Uranus here rising. I guess that tells you all. This is the theme. It is freedom and sovereignty, and bringing in that star seed even deeper into the ground, planting that higher frequency of Uranus into Earth. This also has to do with lots of stuff like free energy, source energy, harnessing, which is definitely a major theme in this whole 7-year period between 2018 and 2025. Tesla, for example, in his birth chart has Uranus in Taurus, so just give you a bit of the frequency here, where we're going, where we are. And then, okay, this is another key alignment then, heliocentric, just shortly after the Mars-Ceres conjunction, there is the Hygeia-Saturn conjunction. Now, this is definitely one of the big themes of our times. Deeply understanding whatever health and well-being means, and also all that karma which is connected to that whole theme, catching up with the last 3 years and more, but the last 3 years definitely were the most obvious in that sense of misguided and whatnot. It was definitely a very harsh time for Hygeia, for the well-being and health on our planet, with Saturn here rebooting Hygeia. It's also coming to terms with what is, with reality, falling out of the clouds of illusions and whatnot, misconceptions in that whole theme. I want to point out this is in the 7th degree of Pisces, and you see this is the 7th degree of Pisces here, which is in this Pluto Charon station, and I'm really strongly, I give you this just away in a nutshell quickly. So, well, you have to listen to the whole recording there to get it, but I'm giving Charon and Pluto the same weight here. I take the space-time midpoint between their two stations, which is not judging by size, because Charon is substantially smaller naturally, even though it is a big moon. It's I guess around 1,000 kilometers in diameter versus Pluto about 2,500. So in mass it's probably 1 to 10 or so. So it is much smaller, but kind of like David and Goliath. You can't really judge by the size of I guess you get the picture. So this is my choice of their shared station when they put the stake in the ground. From here on we move forward again as a couple, as a binary planet, and Pluto and Charon is definitely a very unique, the only as I said, planetary system in our solar system with that particular quality of that they rotate around a mutual point in empty space. So I found that super interesting that this is in the 6th degree, that's this conjunction, and then also naturally the 2nd or 3rd degree here of Virgo here, strongly accentuated. That is where, let me see, if I now go to the geocentric view of this chart here, you see that's where the black moon, Venus, and the moon was at that moment. So, which is again all about the emotional integration of all that darkness and moving on and taking it into a much more harmonious place with the moon Venus conjunction there as being the emerging theme out of that difficult and dark meeting with the black moon. So then on early morning on the 25th, now we are now on the 25th, Ceres enters Sagittarius here at 000. Mars is by that time already at 033. Again, Scorpio rising, and Hygeia this time here seen from Earth, geocentric on the source point. Yes, it is all about integration of that one theme, as this is so close to home. It has definitely touched on everyone's circle of friends or even family, to have someone with repercussions of what has been going on, as roughly 72 or 73% I guess of the Earth's population had that medical intervention and are therefore potential victims of whatever has been done to them. And this is what we are really having to catch up with globally, individually, societally. And this also is where that sacred masculine is really coming in now. Very important to speak our mind, to be truthful and tell everyone what we know. I'm very proud to live in Edmonton, where this wonderful doctor has spoken up, an oncologist. You can look him up, Dr. Makis, Dr. Wiliam Makis. And this is what he had to say here. I'm just playing you this quickly, it's worth listening.
Is this a cover-up?
I believe so. I believe so. You know, we've had too many sudden deaths. The number one cause of death in Alberta in 2021 was cause unknown. And that's never happened before. You know, we had 3,400 Albertans die of cause unknown. And again, it's because the proper autopsies are not being done. The pathologists are aware of it. The health authorities are aware of it. They're discouraging autopsies from being done. And I mean, you have persecution of doctors by the colleges of physicians and surgeons who are telling doctors they cannot raise concerns about the vaccines and vaccine injuries and possible vaccine deaths because they might be facing, they might be causing vaccine hesitancy, and so they're threatening doctors with license suspension.
Is this a cover-up?
Well, I guess that says it all. So that is now happening everywhere. People are really no more holding back. That time has come. That's also very Scorpionic, of being outspoken and direct and to the point. And with that moment, Ceres enters Sagittarius then on the 25th. Moon-Jupiter conjunction at the 7th house cusp. Yes, it's getting even more loud, our voices. Everything is being now amplified by loudspeakers shouted from the rooftops. I guess it is necessary. There's still so many people who are hypnotized and totally mesmerized by not being able to really see yet. I guess it's dawning, even though it takes a little while. So this is now the big event, as I mentioned already, heliocentric Sedna entering Gemini. Here she is, Sedna, the one celestial body visiting us from deep space, coming back from an 11,000 year orbit in deep space, having its closest approach to the sun in the year 2074, I guess somewhere around 18 degree Cancer. So yes, considering that Sedna is coming in from an 11,000 year orbit. If you divide 11,000 by 12 zodiacal signs, you get an average of a little less than 900 years in each sign. However, as Sedna is now so close to the sun, it moves very fast, and it will be in Gemini just for 43 years, from 2023 till 2066. So that shows you Sedna is probably about 2.5 times farther away still than Pluto. But as I say, that's as close as it will get. Now, in Gemini, what can we expect? As I guess it is the mercurial energy which is then starting to fully shine through, which is all about information and coming to know that being Sedna, which brings all those resources, all those memories, all those data banks, and weird, alien, unknown worlds are there to be brought forth and forward. I find it super interesting that the 17th degree of Aquarius is here at the ascendant at the time, and naturally with Sag in midheaven. This is that Jovian Jupiter sign of expansion, of wanting to know it all, and also in the collective third house here with Uranus at the cusp. Yes, this is all about opening that library, that vault of information which connects us to the past, very similar to Aspolus in Cancer. So together they are a great duo, and in the next 20 years or so with Aspolus here in Cancer, they will work together really to unveil all our hidden and our traces where we things go back, and so the memories will come back. In other words, we will remember. and if not in physical form, it will be coming to us as visions and insights as we are connecting to the universal mind. Very beautiful, powerful chart here. And this is the same moment as seen from Earth. And again, the Moon-Jupiter conjunction here is it's just really wonderful to see how it's also the Moon-Jupiter brings a good feeling. It gives us that that sense of really being able to open up and then in the sign of Taurus, this is a big renewal, you could say, which is happening. Interesting, and this is yet another theme, but only a few minutes later Mercury will enter its next retro loop. Means Mercury will cross that degree where it will come back to in December 22:10 and 51 seconds of Sagittarius, and it is just at the onset of this new big chapter of Sedna entering into new Mercury cycle. This is super exciting. The next 4 months will change the world, as I predicted long ago. That last part of 2023, early 24, this is really the center point of this transformational period. So it's super exciting, and yes, around the 25th, with all what you're seeing here, there's many new things starting. What will finally kind of stabilize the whole equation will be the Mars-Saturn square, which then at 4:58 p.m. on the 25th will occur again just hours later, with the moon at 11:52 in Taurus. And nevertheless, Mercury perfectly at the 7th house cusp. Oh yes, information. It's really the universal light is opening up the universal mind. We get access to information. It will come to us in dreams. It will come to us in visions, by exchanging information, by speaking with each other, by pulling it out of one another. It is truth is just surfacing on all fronts together. It will be amazing to just being just alive and experiencing what is coming. Yes, challenging too, but it is deeply rewarding. Last but not least, I'm going to link back to what I started with, the heliocentric Venus Leo ingress as of today. And again, this is for the mesas, for the 3 mesas. And look at this, the Vesta Astrea conjunction, which I repeatedly hinted at being 2 major players, as the asteroids are the roles we are given to play in this drama. And Vesta is the one which is in service of the divine, you could say, to go after highest callings, missions, to serve the divine. And naturally Astrea, the star maiden, which is here to do the cleanup jobs, to bring in the technologies of how to do things. It is named after that goddess who stayed on planet Earth the longest, long after all other gods had taken off to Mount Olymp, because things had gone so sour, one could say. Things had deteriorated, human societies had become vengeful and angry and warring, and still Astrea, that's the story goes, still stayed on planet Earth and helped people with practical solutions and hands-on involvement, and that's exactly what we're seeing from a very spiritual perspective. So this is beautiful confirmation again. And once again, also the early degrees of Virgo here linking into this. I mean, it's all making sense. It's all coming together very organically. And all we have to do is just be here present, show up, get up in the morning, be positive, do what you have been here to do, and just bring in your positive and life affirmative spirit. That's all. The rest is happening. It is that one step we have to move towards the divine, and then God comes our way another 1,000 steps. That's how the story goes. Thank you for joining and listening, and I'm very happy to have you all as my listeners. All the new ones, welcome to this channel. Please spread the word and subscribe if you liked what you heard, for more to come. Love you all. Bye.